folks, so that's the weather update for today and for the next 3 days. So plan accordingly. I saw sunny skies, and I'm all excited about that.
I saw some scattered showers too as well, and I'm excited about
You're
that.
excited for the blessings?
I love the blessing.
Yeah, you know what we're so excited about is for this Monday morning beef.
Oh yes, it's
Yeah.
juicy. I want to say is, Jules, you're tucking your shirt and everything today. Like, look at you.
Yes.
You're come like you're
Yes,
come ready.
yes.
I noticed all of that. You know, when I
Starting the
said it,
week
like, is that Jules' shirt tucked in? Look at that.
Man, you see all the things I have to tolerate now. But we have the intro. Run the beef intro. You all are not introducing the intro.
I sent it to my friends. They love it.
Let's see the beef intro.
Just before the conversation, let's run that quickly, guys. Come on, like.
There you go. Oh, that was Lee Mark. It was my idea. That's, to me, the ultimate breakfast. Steak with an egg, but we have to find the properly ugly steak.
And then all the ketchup, you know, that makes a lot of sense. Because you add the juice, to add the sauce to it, and then your smile just shows that you're ready for this life.
Yeah. I am ready for this life.
Always. And
Always.
so, you know, speaking of that, let's get right into our juicy conversation.
Into the beef, the UDP's beef. Yeah, the UDP's beef is so substantial. So it's a very ticklish moment in the UDP because Patrick Farber is deciding, as that old country and western song says, which bridge to cross and which bridge to burn. He is living in a unreality. He thinks that he has a choice. You have no choice. You have used up all your strikes.
All your chances.
You're at strike 4, publicly. You're at strike 4. It's done. But in his unreality, it's like, boy, I need to make a decision, make a consult, make a try convince this one. So he's been consulting with the party standard bearers, political officers, all weekend. You know, I am told, trying to make his case that, give me one more chance. There are extenuating circumstances. It was a two-way conflict. I understand this is the argument being made.
Yeah.
My brother, you are out of your mind. If you think that you are politically viable at this point as a party leader, we can argue about area representative. We can argue, that would be arguable. But if you think you can be prime minister,
the leader, the face of this party. So when I say,
but when you're face of the party, you are aspiring to be prime minister. So let's just take it to the maximum credible event. The maximum credible event is Prime Minister Patrick Farber with these strikes against you. No, it's not even. We are having what is a moot conversation, right? But in his mind, he's still viable, and it's a live issue. The issue is dead, sir, as is your political career.
Yeah. And they're like, you're hammering, it just dead. Just really just
dead. So, but I'm just saying, such is the state of the UDP. Such is the state of, what do they call it? A diversity of morbid symptoms that has befallen them, that zombies and the undead have taken over the helm.
But Jules,
so I want to read, I just want to quickly read the note he sent internally. And it shows that, Monday at 3 p.m., we'll all know today.
That's what I get into.
Right. So Monday at 3 p.m., we'll all know today. And guys, we have that, have the press release that the UDP sent. And I think the language in that press release was that there are, the language in the press release was that, to discuss the way forward for the UDP.
Yeah, all questions and everything.
And so he says in his internal note to party members, kindly allow me until Monday at 3 to discern for myself what is the best move to make in the interest of the party. On reality, there's only one move.
But in his mind, and he's going to fight for this place.
And this is on reality that you think you are born with a destiny to become prime minister.
Yeah. One observation that I was making over the weekend is that people were saying, and last week you made a comment that an ideal candidate would be Honorable Tracy Taker Panton.
I didn't say ideal, but I said In the land of the blind, she may be the one-eyed.
best next option.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were saying that they would still vote for Patrick Faber if that was the case because they would not vote for a woman to come and lead the party. And that was like really interesting to hear. Like it sticks out that even though you're conscious that all the many strikes that Patrick Faber has had, people are still willing to vote for him because they don't want a female ruling the party as well. So it's interesting to know what's going to happen today in this meeting and if they nominate somebody.
What are your thoughts when it comes to what he's going to be able to say to plead his case or whatever?
First, I think your issue is there's never been a woman leader of a mass party. Obviously, if you go from someone who has had a history of domestic abuse to a woman, it would have a good look. It would look good.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so we are moving past that issue and embracing women empowerment.
It would really look cool.
It would look cool, but that is to our liberal persuasion.
Right.
Yeah, very true.
If a woman has never led a mass party before in Belize, there's a reason for that. And the reason is the patriarchy, which is a force of prejudice, discrimination, and marginalization that is stronger than any systematic oppression in Belize.
Yes.
There are many systematic oppressions ongoing.
Yeah.
But the systematic oppression of women and black women is especially strong. Tracy Tager Panton is a black woman,
Yeah.
right? So that's real. So that's the first issue, that there is a bias against women. However, obviously, she has a seniority. A critical event happened this weekend. I said that I expect she would have the support of Faber and Saldivar, but no, I want to emphasize a critical development that happened yesterday. The Caucus for Change, the Caucus for Change, which is a group informally led by John Saldivar, which was the group to oppose Patrick Faber. The Caucus for Change had a meeting yesterday. They opposed and then they jumped back behind him. They had a meeting in Belmopan yesterday, and the outcome was they were opposed to Patrick Faber. That's critical. I understand every member of the Caucus for Change said Patrick Faber has to go. That is critical. Also, the UDP women's group, which is called UDP Now National Organization for Women, has also signaled that it would oppose his return or his remaining as leader.
Yeah.
These are significant groups. The Caucus for Change is not a formal group, but informally, it's the one who led the recall against him last time.
Okay.
Tony Herrera, that guy who took in the guy from Corozal Southeast, who took in the petition, forcing the recall action, is a member of Caucus for Change. And the Caucus for Change, then after John Saldivar reconciled with Patrick Faber, the Caucus for Change and started supporting the way forward. They have now withdrawn that support. So that is a critical fail for him. So I'm saying he has multiple organizational hurdles to remaining as leader because most of the party do not support him. We're turning now to Tracy Tager Panton. What would make her a more likely leader other than Shine if Patrick Faber were to step down? And that is far from confirmed at this time.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what he's going to do at 3 p.m. today. They really don't. But the feeling is that he wants to stay on, and that's not surprising to anyone.
Yeah, fight fate.
So, objective circumstances, we know that he can't, but subjectively, anything can happen because it's the UDP. Let's repeat it one more time for the chorus. A sad psychiatric circus. That's what it is. So after Tracy, if she is to get the support of Faber and Saldivar, she could obviously be installed as leader. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a convention next year. There's a formal process. If a leader steps down, the chairman, Michael Perfit, takes over.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a consequential weight that would have to happen. Now, it's who could get the leader of the opposition in the House. Shine is waiting in the wings. Because remember, you only need 3.
Yeah.
hey, you all can win any election. I just need 3 votes. So I'm just saying, I know you guys needed 1.
Yeah.
Uh,
He has the GG on speed dial, I'm sure.
yeah, I know, he has it. So he only needs 3. But the question is, which way will Hugo Pat go? Hugo Pat put out a statement against domestic violence on Friday night. It is the most weak need. It is incredible that a deputy leader of a mass party will put out such a non-specific and weak statement talking in general terms about domestic violence. If I could read it, it's really, it's really sad. It's a sad statement.
I didn't see that, so I want.
Yeah. So if we can, if I can pull that up here, there's just been a lot happening because on Friday, obviously, Mr. Faber went to court and the charge was read.
Yeah.
Right? So after that, the charge was read. It was dropped immediately. Dr. Arnold had to appear in court to recant her statement and to face the cameras again. It's tough. I understand how difficult a situation this woman is in. She's also a professional. She has a reputation to protect. But she is caught under the wheels of a national figure and someone with a pattern of behavior. And there are multiple incidents, multiple events that he has been implicated in. One, hurling a cement brick. These are allegations. A cement brick onto the windshield of a vehicle of his former wife. The divorce records from that relationship are well known. They've been ventilated by political persons and they're rough. Those are allegations. He never went to court. Second, we have it was a domestic incident when his Prado ended up in the sea. Under that, you have a sub-item, which nobody knows the origin of specifically, that his vehicle was set on fire in his own driveway. Again, that's a sub-incident. I can't relate it to a domestic incident, but, it indicates a pattern of behavior. Fourth, you had another incident with a young woman that he was with, and I think it's the mother of one of his children, which was that he allegedly dragged her by her hair, etc. I'm told also was injured in that. And she did make a report, but it was never filed. She made a report, but it never made it into the system. But this is what happens when you were actually in government, as I told you. Yeah. If you were in opposition, again, that may go into the system. But when you're in the government, reports have a way of going into the system, but not going in. But no complaint was made, no court action. No court action was requested, but I had seen a written complaint against him for specific allegations of abuse. Later on, we all know the incident with charging towards the door, right? And now we have this incident that I believe he has claimed to persons within the party in his pleadings this weekend that there are 2 sides to that story and 2 victims. That may be the case, sir. I don't want to get into the personal details. I certainly know there is a woman who is the greater victim in this because she is being subjected to a double humiliation, a professional humiliation and a personal humiliation of having to face this, and that's just...
Yeah.
And it's a pattern of behavior, and at this point it becomes untenable.
Yeah.
At this point, your leadership really becomes untenable. So, I just want to put that out there. The long history, what he's really facing. It's like strike 5 publicly that you're against. So I'm still trying to find the Hugo Pat statement, but I can't. But Hugo Pat he's basically saying that that he stands against domestic violence and we're all children of God. Like, he doesn't, you have to take a stand. But now the question for Hugo Pat is, which way will he go for the leader of the opposition?
Yeah.
Because Tracy Panton presumably might have 2 votes, herself and Patrick Faber. Because Patrick Faber will, if he decides to step aside, he will pick anybody over Shine Barrow.
That's true.
He will pick anybody over Shine Barrow. He'd have picked Sister B over Shine Barrow for the leader of the opposition, right? So I'm just saying, it's a very, so if she can get his support, it all depends on Hugo Pat,
Yeah.
right? To be leader of the opposition, because you only need 3.
Yeah. So in his statement, he was very generic about domestic violence, but he did not say what his stand would be.
Yeah, he didn't. I found it here.
Okay.
The Hugo Pat statement. It says that as leaders elected by the public, we have a responsibility to lead by example. Garbage. I mean, a generality. It is with an even higher degree of the public office we must always consider our actions to conduct ourselves with respect, because we owe it to ourselves, our people, and our nations. Masturbatory. I'm just putting my comments in the margin. And by holding public office, our lives and that of our family will always be in the public discourse, whatever. Anyway, as a practicing Christian who has sworn to uphold the law without fear or favor, I wish to place on record my absolute and strong condemnation to any form of abuse, including domestic abuse against women. Good governance starts with ourselves, then our family, and then our community. Our family structure is the foundation of our bigger being, and we must always carry ourselves with a high level of prudence. All right. So, but basically, if we can read through all of that, what Hugo Pat has said is that another with Faber. So this is the first time this man has made, I criticize it for being so general and weak, that he makes a general statement. Man, speak to the specific instance. And that's why I have to praise the chairman of the party. The chairman of the party,
He did speak out.
Mike Perfit, said the man has to resign.
Yup.
No, it sounds like he is saying a lot. This is only automatic, right? This is only completely automatic, what he said, that the man has to resign. So I have to praise the chairman of the party, and Patrick Faber, his response to the chairman of the party was, and if I can read it here, he characterized the chairman of the party as a vulture circling what he perceives to be a dead carcass. This is Patrick Faber's word about Michael Perfit, the chairman. Hungry for power. I have won 5 general elections. I will not take political advice from a man who has never won a single political race, not even a constituency convention.
The audacity.
Yeah, like, sit down.
How dare you tell me what to do when you didn't even like run or anything?
Yeah,
like that?
exactly.
Shut your mouth. Like that kind of.
Yeah, no, it's incredible, right?
Yeah.
It's just like that.
I'm just saying, but again, adults behaving like children.
Children.
This is what the PUP is demonstrating right now in its municipal travails
Right.
as well.
It speaks of that. He's still going for this leader of the opposition and party leaders.
But I
by
also
that
wanna-
statement that he did.
What I also have to just pinpoint, and I'm not sure if you guys see the same thing that I see, when his comment towards Michael Perfit, it kind of shows still a little bit of cockiness with him too as well, you know? The way how he answered.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're in this position where the entire public is looking at you and you don't know, that you're in the good graces, there's a humility, like, you're supposed to kind of
Humble
be like a
yourself.
dog, we're having the tail between your legs, because you technically they're in a hot seat. So like the way how he answered was like,
Yeah.
well, I win 5 general, like that kind of thing is like, I am here, understand me, that kind of, I want you to, I demand your respect, when reality is you need to earn that back right now. And that's
Yeah,
how I feel that
that's
the
true.
response
That's
was.
a good observation.
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
It just seems like somebody that's still cocky.
Absolutely, and I'm saying on reality, right? This is when you're living, you just gone the court. You just gone the court, like you can't, but in his mind, these are all equivocal events. Like this can be interpreted 2 ways. There are 2 sides to this story. No, there's only one side. You are a public figure who has to have an unimpeachable record of personal conduct.
Right.
If we are to entrust our country to you as prime minister, you must be unimpeachable. So when you see, but I'm saying that all the signals are coming. When you see a group that I call the carcass for change, because they're full of UDP corpses, the carcass for change, not even they support you. Like, yo, you're in trouble. So, but we're all waiting with bated breath for 3 p.m. today to see what Patrick Faber will say, what tone he will strike. There are a lot of stories that, he's going to come out there and try to hold on. And like he said, that was his last word to the press on Friday when he walked away from us. He is a fighter.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. So he's going to fight, though. He's going to fight because, if he steps aside, it's a question is if even he can hold on in the Colette constituency. Remember, these people are professional politicians.
Yeah.
Patrick Farber's previous vocation is as a teacher. He has become a professional politician. John Saldiva is a professional politician. They don't have a side gig. Although John says he's now a pig farmer.
Then he have his show too.
He has a show, you're right. He has a show. He has a show.
Give the man the credit the guy. Whole his show and he contact and they stand up with the
That's
show.
true. That's true. He launched his show on Sunup. So, but I'm just saying that these people are professional politicians and they're going to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Even though the game has ended, it's like, man, I just say, okay, I practice my jumper. I'm ready.
Take that free throw.
Exactly. Exactly. Call me in the clutch. So yeah, but and then the other thing I wanted to bring up on the beef, while we are whistling through the graveyard, Belize is in the middle of a shipping crisis. And what do I mean by this? So we saw the events at the Port of Belize on Friday.
Yes.
At the Port of Belize on Friday, they sent in the BDF
Yeah.
to unload a ship. And the stevedores cried bloody murder. And I understand they went to the pierhead and they got the BDF to stop because it's clear blood may go and shed the pierhead. Because you are taking bread out of their mouth. They were determined to shut down the Port of Belize. And they have. Nobody move, nobody get hurt. That's the stand right now. They are making claims for certain, for losses of revenue when the sugar ship went south. Government had given undertaking. That's a bigger case, but let's look at the immediate issue. So, 3 cargo ships have sailed away without offloading their cargo. They could not offload their cargo, right? So, this is, over the weekend would have seen something close to 400 containers. And so those have all left
Yeah.
without offloading. This makes it more expensive because presumably they'll have to come back at a point we don't know. So we have, I'm told that, that Tropical Shipping had 10 containers, Hyde Shipping had 130, Marine and Services had 300 plus containers with both empties and exports, sugar and citrus waiting to go out.
Wow.
And BC had 150 plus. All those shipping movements,
They never ship.
they didn't ship. They didn't.
just sat right there,
They just sat and left because those ships charge for every day they're in the water waiting. So, so for the full containers of imports, $300,000 just for landing fees to sort of give you the idea of the quantum involved in an event like this. That does not include cargo dues and other port-associated costs. Also, remember the government is expecting revenues from all these imports.
Yeah.
Right? That's their main revenue hub, the Port of Belize, and that's not coming in. So the days to tell will determine what happens next with these ships that have left. Will they go to Big Creek? Will they come back and go to Big Creek? That still makes things a little more expensive because they have to be trucked up to Belize City from the Port of Big Creek. But I'm saying it's a significant event, and depending on how long the port stays closed, you know, these are what creates shortages, exports are stuck.
Increase in prices.
Increase in prices, of course, because products become more expensive as delays are introduced. I'm just saying, so that's operationally what we're looking at, that we see a conflict here, but what's really happening is that our sovereign port is shut down, and that's a consequential economic event. The shutting down of the port, I don't think I can say any clearer. This is a source of ongoing dispute, and a lot of people can't understand the actions of the stevedores. And I want you all to, I think I've said it here before, Do you understand that these are the descendants of enslaved persons that were brought to Belize against their will? Do you understand that after the forestocracy collapsed, after the British pillaged and exploited every piece of wood they could, then just dashed in a Belize city and said, figure it out. People from the north who came in the Caste War, they went up in the cane industry. That's a very important socio-political difference. That was the industry that they were bequeathed, so to speak. People in the south, they have citrus, they have banana industries. What is the industry in Belize City? These people, this population, the Creole population of Belize City, the descendants of enslaved persons, what was the industry they were expected to transition into after the British vampire left? The colonial vampire.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm saying that you have to understand these people are fighting, like the song says, sorry to use a quote, fighting on arrival, fighting for survival. Mm-hmm. This is the last serious economic substantial source of income, of legitimate income that is left on the south side.
Wow.
That is why they fight. That is why they fight with such spirit. And the incomprehension of this by the government to send in the BDF only to look for start and war.
Facts.
Like, you understand them and they fight for survival.
So bread and butter?
Right. But I'm saying it's a total incomprehension by a government led by Norteños. Remember, this Prime Minister is the first to have said the Norteños in the cabinet. Remember, I've raised this issue here before. That's a very serious worldview. That's a very serious shift in worldview.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying the man does not comprehend the issues of the South Side, but I'm saying that you have to understand that they see the stevedores as a problem that has to be solved. And how they chose to solve it on Friday was to send in the BDF, make them unload the ship. Now go work.
Yeah.
So that issue is really a very live and a very volatile issue. And I'm sorry.
No, that just blew my mind what you said just now, because a lot of people, I would have never seen it that way.
Yeah.
You know, like, until you said that.
No, Josemai is the one who crystallizes for me. Find a job. What's the job, my brother?
Right.
What's the job?
Yeah, and their identity too. That's the next
Right,
thing.
exactly.
Wow.
Makes you think, right? Why they fight? Like, people are wondering, this don't make no kind of sense, and if you start put it down the stevedores again, etc., etc. Yeah. But knowing now, like, putting and piecing it together, the history behind it, this is their lastly thread they're holding on to.
Right.
And they have to fight for it. This is their bread, their butter, their livelihood, how they take food home to their family. This is the thing that they stand for, because
multiple families
sugar,
there.
We're multiple, yeah, they don't have the sugar, they don't have the citrus, they don't have like other people. This is all they really have when you think about it.
Right. One lean nipple, Belize City, 1.3 square miles. And everybody trying to get some milk.
But they were suck as much as they could suck for now one nipple, yeah?
Yeah, it's real.
And they suffice for that.
Right.
They were push.
Yeah,
and
so
that's why they continue.
Yes. So and that's why the spirit of resistance is so strong. It's these guys are earners. They are holding the South Side together. These are the last threads that are holding the South Side together. The South Side, do you understand that poverty goes up every 10 years by 10% in this country? 1998, 32% poverty. 2008, 42% poverty. 2018, before COVID, 52% poverty.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And this is concentrated, right? Yes, in the Toledo district, because of a different level of subsistence living there, and that's a whole other socio-political conversation. But so much of that poverty is concentrated in Belize City.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying the social fabric is holding on by threads, yes. And these guys are the threads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right? So it's a complicated issue, and that brings us the poverty in Belize City and the crime. It brings us to this weekend. You know, we saw 4 murders in 24 hours between Thursday night and Friday night, we saw 4 murders. And obviously, Tanga's murder on Friday morning, a block from here, a square block from here, was the most consequential. The notorious Winston Tanga James, a man who had become so visible in the public imagination.
Yes. Because of his whole entanglement and everything.
Entanglement, indeed. He became, when this guy's murder happened, I had, the people that were calling me from different sectors of society. Because of this entanglement, yes, you could say, well, that's a whole South Side thing. This man was nationally known.
Yep.
He was,
He was.
And his murder, it was very deliberately executed. The man is at court, sheltering in the rain. He then goes to his attorney or J.L. Rington's office. He's at court for a bail hearing type thing. He goes to his attorney's office, has a meeting there, and when he's leaving, a man is waiting to shoot him dead.
Yeah.
Such a deliberate action. And then he speeds off and crashes 3 or 4 blocks away, right here on our corner. But it has sparked a huge gang war. And that's real. That is the reality of the situation we're facing right now, that there is it's a major gang-related killing. And I believe as a consequence, that's why we had a murder in Laurel Boom at 5:30 that evening. Because I don't like to name the gangs because that gives them prominence and prestige. But I believe that is a direct consequence of the Tanga James murder. The one later in the night may be related, I don't want to say, but I'm just saying in 24 hours, 4 murders. So now for January, already we're only at the 24th, and we've surpassed the total number of murders. 6 we had in January of 2021, and we're already, I believe, for at least at 9 murders for this month of January. I'm just saying it's an upward trend in crime, and it's an upward trend in gang violence. And the government has come forward. Karim Musa has sat here. The Leadership Intervention Unit has sat here. I understand. I'm not disparaging the efforts of these guys, but there is a word that we like to use, RASS, returning always to the same solution. It's a scientific term. It's not what you think I'm saying. It's returning always to the same solution. And that's what has been happening. They have been returning repeatedly to the same solution. This is the same solution the UDP tried, and I believe it's earnest. I really do. Conflict mediation, job creation. I really do believe it's earnest, but you have to understand the feuding, the constant feuding that's going on, and so much of this is over marijuana trade, over turf. That really drives so much of the violence, and it's not easy to address. It is multi-generational, it is multifaceted, and it has so many combatants who have so much access to firepower. It's not easy to solve, but don't ever boast that, I think we got it fixed. Don't. Wait for a year. Don't, because it's so difficult to control. So basically that's my Monday morning beef, guys. Did I miss anything? I beef a lot.
Wait, well, I want to ask one quick thing, because this is something that's been in the air for a while when it comes to the idea of, gang rivals and murders and the crime rate that comes and is affiliated with that. People say a solution would be to just, if the police officers know all these gang leaders, they know everybody, from the mere fact that the Leadership Intervention Unit said how that they're working with 250 boys that they can identify with these different gangs. And some people speculate and say that a quick fix to this entire thing is just to grab all of them, rob them from the different communities and so forth, take them off the streets and just put them up, because you don't know exactly what they're doing. You don't know, you could pinpoint them, because a lot of people can say that, you know what, we know exactly who these people are. We just sometimes can't pinpoint the exact evidence, but we know. Like when you know, like the same thing with the narcos and everything. We may know how that the drugs they get, police were involved and everything, but we never know exactly who. We have concrete evidence more at this point, But it's the same thing when it looks at the gang leaders. We know who they are. We know who are affiliated with them. So why not just take them off the streets and put them in a jail and done?
Well, my dear, we also know who the corrupt politicians are. Why we not begin with them? Why we not begin with the corrupt politicians? Because if you ask the average person in the public, and I say only 31 are there, so they're writing at the house. Now I know the politicians, whatever. I'm just saying, that's why we have a justice system. Because you may indeed think you know, but you don't, what makes you know, and there are so many levels to truth, so many levels beneath the surface to what actually happened, right? And even if you did that, it does not, even if you say, I wrong all of them, put them in a jail like they do in states of emergency, that's what they do. Incarcerate without due process. 60 days, man, me in there. I'm saying that there are still, it is not, you're not born as a gangster. You're not born bad. It is the social circumstances that create the ferment where abandoned boys who have been on some level rejected by their mother, rejected by school, accepted by the gang, and targeted by the police. This is the pattern. There are more to come up. There are a lot more there, especially with COVID. So many have gone to university, to the university. Instead of going to school, they went to the University of Crime, the University of Hunger. That's actually the bachelor's course. Hunger leads to crime, right? I'm just saying. So it's social circumstances. So even if you put all of them, you think can't stop, it won't stop. In the immortal words of Ice-T, in Colors, 1984, I'm dating myself, the gangs of LA never die, they just multiply. But I'm not having that dismal outlook. I'm just saying that you have to look at what's systemically happening. The abandonment of boys, the rejection of boys.
And they're aware of this. I mean, it came out all in their Plan Belize that they're going to be addressing all those social issues, and they got in place and they totally forgot about it. That they just have the leadership intervention unit, and I feel like that's what they think will meaningfully address situations. And then you link it to the stevedores. I mean, just the whole heat from that fuels what's happening there, and then you're...
And it shows, again, the fact that you're not really targeting the serious problem at hand. And then you look at stevedores, and remember, we had a conversation about this when the heat was happening, and the stevedores were here, and we're like, in the case, God forbid that these people lose their jobs, they're on the south side. You're fueling up even, I'm not saying that they're just going to go out and start crime, but people hungry, when man and man hungry, they do desperate things, and we all know this. When you can't feed your daughter, your son, you have a baby on the way and all these things, you do desperate things. We know it.
And there's also research that proves that, gives you facts on how you're going to be addressing the situation. The report from Dr. Gale is it. That's like just sitting there. I'm sure, I don't know if they've read it, or maybe it's just on the desk, but that gives you data that tells you how to meaningfully address the situation, and it's just there.
Yeah, it's a very deep social problem.
Yeah.
We could go on. We could actually have a whole episode just speaking about crime and everything that happens with it, because there's so much
we don't need more police. We need more social workers.
Exactly.
We need more social intervention.
We need more counseling. We need more social workers. We need more jobs. We need things that can allow these young people to have a second chance, or not even need a second chance, to have a beginning, to not feel like they have to go to the gangs to get their protection, to get their meals.
To get acceptance.
To get acceptance.
That's really it.
That's it.
It begins with rejection, and until we start to address the hurt people, sorry to repeat
trauma,
it, but the hurt that exists in men. In boys and men, because all the while, we're told, you're a man, you could take it, man up. Lee boy have to man up. And that hurt is what leads to trauma, is what leads to expressions of violence. But that, I believe, is another show and far from my realm of expertise.
We definitely can talk about that. But Thank you so much, Jules, for being here. It was definitely a very juicy conversation.
Juicy beef.
I feel like
Juicy
the beef
beef.
get marinated, the ketchup and even made enough food, like it just made it seep through, like, whoo! I mean, a lot they happen, but we appreciate you so much. And we actually have a sunrise for you guys again. It's from Chef
Jenny Staines
Chef
from
Jenny
San Pedro.
Stain from San Pedro. So they're fair, right? And the boat that sunrise
What was
catch
what?
the boat. Huh?
What did you say?
And I said it.
Fair.
Fair, like far.
Wow, first time I heard that.
I love how I teach you guys things. I'm loving it, right? But
Fair. All
when
right.
we're back, our conversation keeps on getting juicier because we're going to be speaking about domestic violence, the relationships that come from this, and also the unhealthy patterns that we look at for females and in general people that go towards a partner that is abusing them. So if you have any questions, if you are somebody that has faced that same situation, make sure you put your comments in there. We want to hear from you. This is a very interactive show, and so share because we want and we care. And so with that, we'll go to our first commercial break. We'll be right back.